All right, YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. Hopefully the audio's not completely trash, and hopefully it didn't do that little glitch like it normally does to me in the beginning. Why is this so zoomed in looking? What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? It sounds good, looks good, great, fantastic. Woo! We are here for some yin and yang. Got Andy with me. What's good? What's good? Let's go. We got a whole lot of stuff to talk about.
We got some discovery today, Jody. Woo.
Sometimes you got to build that case up real quick. Hey,
man.
This is going to be heavy. Shocking breaking news came out as of today. If you guys don't know, Andy even already did a report on it. It's on his channel. Make sure after this live stream you go check out his. And this is going to be a further developing story because the stuff that happened today is going to unravel and start to make you have to go back into the histories and really see exactly how bad Zack Snyder just made himself look today. He made himself look absolutely terrible because of some of the statements that he said. So what am I talking about? Well, it's simple. Zack Snyder has come out with some statements that are rather controversial. He says that his fandom is not toxic at all and people are sour grapes and they don't know what they're talking about and it's just hate out there to get people. He's basically playing silent, like no harm, no foul, and actually aligned himself with certain members of the Snyder Cult that he himself said doesn't exist. Now, a lot of this comes from a book excerpt that was published on, what was the name of the website that he publishes on? The same Cinema Blend, right? His name is Sean O'Connell. He's the author of this Snyder book. Am I right, Andy? Is that my point?
Correct. Yes.
Cool. So this same person wrote a book about Zack Snyder and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
It's the long, right? I had the same. That name is ridiculous. John, come on, man. That's a terrible name.
Well, I'm going to be using
YouTube video. He's trying to put like as many keywords in as possible, so you buy his book, I guess. I don't know.
Antonio Badani said he made himself look even worse. Oh, yes, you're right. And after this video is over, you guys will completely see that it's not a good look. I'm taking from IndieWire. Forgive me if I don't use your trash site right now, bro. Zack Snyder rails against calling his Justice League fans toxic. Welcome, Widow, to Tier 1, by the way. She waited for this. Welcome, Black Widow. She just joined Tier 1. Welcome, girl. That's right. Oh, if I didn't have to hit this news right away. I'm coming back to that, Widow. I'm coming back to that. He called it a bunch of BS. Now let's go ahead and take a dive into this stuff. Zack Snyder speaking out against accusations that his fan base is toxic and that Warner's decision to revise his character's cut of Justice League for HBO Max is a win for toxic fandom. In an interview with Release the Snyder Cut author and Cinema Blend managing director Sean O'Connell, Snyder pushed back against claims criticizing his fan base and suggested that he is not allowed to name are responsible for constructing a dangerous narrative about his fans. I need you guys to pay attention. Sean O'Connell is the name of the person who wrote the book on Release the Snyder Cut. Remember the name, ladies and gentlemen, because I got receipts on that bitch. For sure. He himself is a member of the Snyder Cult. He himself has contributed and enabled the toxic fandom, bro. Oh, I got you though, bruh. Blocking me is not going to protect you. For sure. Here's a quote from Snyder himself. This is Zack Snyder. He says, quote, "I think that is just sour grapes. There's really no other."
Wait, this is for, he's talking about his critics. Because a lot of people were confused when I did my story. Make sure. Right now we're talking haters, the critics of the Snyder and everything. That's
me. I'm definitely, you are definitely one of them. We the ones who did not like Snyder's universe. We did not like Snyder's films. I hate Snyder's DC movies, but I love 300 and Watchmen. He says, quote, "I think that is just sour grapes. There is really no other way to say it. We know the people who are architects of that narrative, and it's pretty obvious what their agenda is. Those people that I have been held back from confronting by wiser people in the room, because I love to get at some of these characters. Some direct conversation would be nice, just to say, one, you don't know shit about what you're talking about. There's a few of these guys where I would just get a list of everything that they've ever said that they thought was right, and I could tell them every single thing they've said is wrong. Andy, I would like to say that he's talking about me, you, any people who run articles, anybody who has ever had anything negative to say about his universe, from his exit, from why he exited, from why they didn't want him back, from why the movies suck. That's who he's talking about. He's talking about me, you, and many other, probably few other YouTubers that you probably know and article pushers who were against this movement. But he goes on to say, and he continues with his words, and things get a little bit more serious here. He says, I would love the opportunity to just say to the world and to the fandom in general. Let me say that again. He says, I would love the opportunity to say to the world and to the fandom in general. What fandom is you think he's talking about? You think he's talking about his cult crew? You think he's talking about the fans that listen to everything he says? I don't know. He says who these fakers are and what should be done to them or with them. Bro, that sounds like a threat to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
I'm not going to try to compare him to former President Donald Trump, but that's incitement of insurrection. You are gathering your fan base to cause action on something. I would love the opportunity to just say to the world and to the fandom in general who these fakers are and what should be done to them or with them. It's just a bunch of BS. In regards to that toxic fandom, or it's a win for toxic fandom, again, in what world does this toxic fandom raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for suicide prevention? How is that a toxic fandom? They've probably achieved more than any other fan base and done more good than any other group. So I don't understand, Andy. That is some high horse, ignorant bullshit.
Ignorant, petty, angry.
Do you know how many movements have actually had positivity goals with a trajectory of actual good that didn't have a toxic fandom, a shady side within it, who is just about pure the goal? Let me tell you why this is wrong. They absolutely have weaponized the sad death of his daughter into guilt tripping people and using it as a tool for why we shouldn't lash out against his bad movies. What happened to his daughter and what he does as a profession, critiquing his films, have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with his daughter. But the cult, always in my comment section, I know in Andy's and everywhere else's, including Vanity Fair, who came out and says, this is what happens when you let a toxic fandom win. Because they would say, oh, you don't want he's just for his dead daughter. Why don't you want the Snyder Cut? His dead daughter's, he's getting money for suicide prevention. Oh,
great.
That's fantastic. So, Andy, let me ask you, if it's really truly about suicide prevention, shouldn't they be okay with something like this? Suicide prevention that Zack Snyder is donates and takes part in. All proceeds, ladies and gentlemen. Because that's what I do. I'm doing my part because I'm against this bullying bullshit.
I'm proud of you, man. That's tight.
Thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? All proceeds of all the shirts, the $35, go up on there now. Get one, get two. Get one for your friend, for your homegirl, for your homie, for your mammy, for your cousin, for your auntie. It's all going to a good cause. I'll give you guys receipts. I'll give you guys updates about the sales and stuff. Not only that, not only will all proceeds of the shirt sales right here, teespring.com/Jody's Corner, go to charity, but I'm also, for the first wave, I'm also going to add my own personal $100 donation to the suicide prevention charity right there as well. So that's what's up. So I'm putting my own motherfucking funds up on it, though. I got $100 to that, too, because people kill themselves over that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I put out my own Reject the Snyder Cult, which was against not the Snyder fans, but against the toxic, disgusting bully side that has bullied many people on my platform, many people with Vanity Fair, many with Hollywood Reporter, many with Andy Signore's channel, many with our group of channels that expand from our group, Lewis. There's lots of people, Paul. There's a lot of other people who have experienced this hate. K-Dot. I have a lot of people who have channels who have experienced this. So I said, we're going to reject the Snyder Cult and we're going to use the the funds to fund exactly what they said this is all about, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And guess what? I said all proceeds, and not just that, I'm going to put my own money. I said $100 for the rest of the year of 2020. Every month I will put my own funds into it to show them how much I care about that, because I do believe in it. Well, guess what happened, Andy? They took it down. You hypocritical PC bastards, you toxic fandom are so hypocrite. You complained to Teespring. Ye, Fisher, and the cult complained to Teespring with a formal letter complaining about my brand and my shirts and got them taken down. They shut the whole thing down. Wait a minute. I thought this was for about suicide prevention. I thought suicide prevention was the ultimate goal here. Hypocrite much? Andy, what's your take so far?
I mean, they're such hypocrites because they what they do is they generalize, they project. When we talk about the Snyder Cult, it happens still to this day. I did a video today, and they're still like, Andy, we're not in a cult. I'm like, dude, stop putting yourself in a cult. I said every time I talk about this, it's a small vocal minority. It is not all Zack Snyder fans. I'm saying it again now. I don't know how many times these slow people need me to keep reminding them. We're not talking about them. Now, if they see themselves in there because they're so obsessed with Zack that they've done some crazy things, well, that's on you, man. But I have never put all fans in that box, nor has Jody. We've made it very clear that the shirt, everything we've done, reject the cult, we should all be on the same page for. We should all be on the same page. But do you know why they aren't, Jody? Do you know why Zack
I know.
Do you know why they can't condemn the cult? It's because he empowers them.
Correct.
He shows up on their channels. If he were to call them out, then he would be caught enabling and being on their platforms. And that's the real, they are so ingrained, they don't even understand it. So they can't condemn it. They can't call it out because they're just as guilty because they've let it happen. And so for them to pull your shirt for awareness and donations, to take that down for the cause, for you fighting back against the bullies, the toxic fans.
So hypocritical.
Why are we not on the same page? We should have been on the same page since day one. But they're not. They're all ingrained in this cult, and it's a problem. And any Zack Snyder fan should be stepping up against that said cult. There have been a few. Even one of our enemies at least had the gall to all right, it's gotten too far. That's why I went on a stream to give him credit, because look, anybody's going to go against that wave and actually admit this, I say kudos, because no one's brave enough, dude. Talk about being brave. Stand up against this cult.
It's hard.
They're toxic.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. I can't hit the block faster. It unfazes me at this point. I laugh every time someone tries, hey, this you? And then they're just like, they have no argument, Jody. They have no rhyme or reason. It's just crap that they throw at us to try and justify the cult behavior and the hate and the toxicity. And so for Zack to come out, I mean, I want to go.
This quote here is so wrong. Like, my fan base didn't do anything. My fan base is good. Name me somebody who does better than that. Not only is he saying his fan base isn't toxic, he's also saying we're the best. My fan base is the best. You know good and goddamn well, Snyder, that your fan base has toxicity in it. To say that there's nothing toxic in it is to empower them even more, which lets the people who are actually spewing hate at me, Andy, and other people on the internet, it's going to be like, wow, all this stuff that I've said, Zack loves it. So let me say more.
It's so frustrating because it's like, and I don't mean to make this political, but I can't help but not notice hypocrisy. It seems like Snyder, Ray Fisher, they're all very liberal and they're not like Trump supporters. And I don't mean to but it's so parallels to me when people kept telling Trump, hey, you got to condemn the racists. You got to condemn these people. And he didn't want to do it. He was like, well, you could just tell he did at a certain point when he was forced to. He did finally say it. I would give credit, but you can tell he didn't want to upset voters is really where it came down to. And if you really want to get to the core of it, and it's the same thing happening here. And this article, I've always sort of all right, well, he's not that evil. He doesn't really mean it. He's not paying attention. He's
Confirms
busy.
everything I've been saying and
tried
thinking.
to be the better person and give him the benefit of the doubt. But when I read these quotes, everything was revealed. His
Dark
real,
Sidious.
dark self was revealed. And now look, I get why he's pissed. I actually was on his side for a lot, but you can tell there is deep-seated vengeance he wants. He wants blood, Jody.
And Andy.
It's scary when you realize, oh no, he's been behind it the whole time.
And I'm going to reveal something this weekend in my video where I reveal the source that confirms even things that the world doesn't know about Zack Snyder, about his intentions on Warner Brothers and what he thinks of people that actually worked at Warner Brothers in 2017 and 2018. That video is going to drop this weekend. I'm going to out the person who I have very close to Zack Snyder, and I'm going to show the world exactly what Snyder, his thought process is. These quotes don't surprise me one bit. I wish these came out after I did my video because it would just confirm everything that I was going to make. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss that video. But looking at him say these things, Andy, to me, it's clear that he knows the writing is on the wall for him and his time at Warner Brothers. He knows that he's done. Jay Fisher is done. That his film is done. They don't want it. The fan base has taken a huge L. And this is the one last middle finger out the door to make the fandom rage hard, rage hard.
See, that's the first time I disagree slightly, I think, because these interviews were clearly done a little bit ago. Like this book's been writing for a while and it's been in press. But
the release is timed for this. The release is timed for this.
Feel like they were written before the cul-de-sac. Like these quotes feel like an emboldened Zack who has power.
He knew
he can get what he wants, and he's like, "Yeah, I got F it. We're gonna keep going."
Trust me, he knew.
It doesn't feel like he knew it was starting to end. So I don't know. I don't know if, but
he knew.
Maybe. But I think regardless, it shows the real truth behind his character, in that he's calling his critics fakers, jealous, sour grapes. Like that's a whole nother thing.
So you think you think when he put these quotes out for Sean O'Connell to put in his book, that it was when he had the comeback. SnyderCult has been released. He's out, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, what's up? Yeah, okay."
See?
Very logical.
And Ray was in there calling the people out, and Ray still had a shot. And now, over the past couple months, Ray's done. Ray is done, and we got to talk about Ray too, because there's everybody Ray's been after is all the same snakes and people him and the cult have been trying to call forever. It's all connected, guys.
Yes.
But all of that's separate. But it's like that, and then the cul-de-sac quote, the fact that they've been trying to he's been fighting to get the release date against Kong, where they're like, let's throw something better there. All of that's been in the last couple months to really show they don't actually have as much faith in him that I think he knows now. I agree. I don't think he knew at the quotes how bad it was going to get, is all I'm saying. I agree with that. There is deflation of Snyder.
I agree with that.
It's over. The fever dream is ending, and people don't realize it's about to be over. And then he's going to have to move on. Right. And I think he will. He's a talented director. As I don't like these quotes, he'll still work. Don't get me wrong. But I think the DC, unless this does some huge numbers and surprises us all, which is, I don't want to, there's always a maybe, right? But I don't think it will. I think his DC career is over. And so all of that said, you can tell in these quotes, the hubris got to him, and the true Zack Snyder's there. He doesn't pay attention to the fans. He doesn't care.
That's what I agreed with.
Talk about BS.
Yes, that's what I was talking about, something different when you disagreed. I agree with that. I was talking about this is what he knew, because this is what he believed years ago. That's finally coming out. This is the real Zack Snyder right here. And this is going to be tied to what I'm going to be releasing in my video this weekend. Yeah. This is him. And unless I put it public, I couldn't say this is him unless I prove that I know this is him. And I couldn't do that without revealing who I know it from. But now I'm at the point where I'm going to reveal who I know it from. I'm going to reveal who told me to my eyes. This isn't I heard from somebody like Ye Beachmaid Fisher does. Oh, no. The source spoke directly to me. And I've held on to this for years now. Well, no more. It's coming this weekend. It will be great. Antonio says Zach's going to try to order 66 in March. Watch him try. We'll see what happens.
He's been trying to do it since all year.
So I want to go back to.
Dude, did you hear John Berg is now producing a Batman? Like, he's not even out. None of them are out.
None of them are out. Bro, Warner Brothers seems to be back in control for now, but I'm still shaky on that because AT&T is a problem. They hijacked them. So, these producers are still going to be working, and that's a fact. I believe in that 100%. But let's talk about Andy, let's talk about the fact that he's denying the toxic fandom. You know what that makes me feel like, as somebody who has been actually verbally abused by these people? It makes it feel like Snyder doesn't care about what people like me go through. He doesn't care about the cyberbullying. He doesn't care about the death threats.
Correct. Yeah.
Like he doesn't believe in victims. Yeah. Like he doesn't believe in victims. I have had personal documented issues with some of the hate that has come my way. And Andy, I'm sure that you have too.
Oh, dude, and so many people have reached out with the hate, and everyone's just like, oh, and we've talked about this privately. I've talked about it publicly. Like,
how bad did it get for you? It get to the point where
in a really bad space. And so, for someone who's talking about suicide prevention, mental health awareness, all that stuff, these people are exactly what's wrong and what caused those types of problems. And if I hadn't been through worse, and I can handle it. I don't want to say like, oh, I almost checked out because of this, but dude, weak-minded people absolutely would. They would. Vicious. They push you over the edge and laugh while you fall. These are not the types of people you want to have associate producer of your movie on their header and your characters in their avatars. Like, I'm sorry, I know creators aren't responsible for their most toxic parts of fans. I get that. At some point, though, when you are asked, what do you think about the toxic fans? It's just media 101. The easiest answer for him, look, there's always some bad apples in the bunch, but there are so many more better apples. Of course, I don't condone any of that. I condemn it. People should be supportive, and I'm so grateful to the ones that were. They're the majority of this group, right? And I'm so grateful to them. Look at the things we've raised from it. That's how a normal person, even if he's sinister in the inside, Jody, that's how a regular person would have handled that question, because he wouldn't have dodged it. He would have acknowledged the obvious. It would have at least sent the thing, and then he would have looked like a hero, and then he would have focused on the positive of the group and like, yeah, rah, let me try and spin it. But no, Jody, look what he did. Not only did he say there's no toxicity and deflect to using the shield of, they raised all this money. To me, it's like, he's in on that too. Like, it almost feels like he was like, you know what? Start raising money for the charity, because then they won't be able to fight us. Like, I really think it's getting that dark now where I'm like, really? Shit. This dude's involved, because you got to go back. I mean, we could talk about toxicity, but like, look at all those quotes. He's literally now calling out every one of his critics as sour grape fakers, and he's keeping lists. Who keeps lists? Like, that's scary. Like, that's like McCarthyism, like a communist. Like, what do you mean you're keeping lists? Like, of what? And then they'll see what they're getting. You're spot on. He's fanning those flames of people he won't call out, that he's saying are toxic, to go do what they got to do to expose and take out the threats. Like, dude, that is scary, awful stuff, and more people need to be calling out what this is. It's so frustrating, Jody. There's still people who will just jump in. Andy, I'm so bored of the story. Why are you talking about this? Like, hello?
Why would we not? It's an ongoing, terrible issue.
This is bullying. This is harassment. And the man in charge has now enabled it and stopped sort of trying. Like, he's now like, oh, there's no toxicity. What are we talking about? Look at all the good we've done. What are you talking about? Oh, they're all sour grapes. They're all haters. Da, 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 da. Oh, and he's spinning how he's reusing the words. I'm sorry. The words are right there. He revealed the words. I'm sorry if you don't. I'm sorry Sean O'Connell is such an idiot that he thought this is a good press release to do pre-book. I don't even think, Jody, he realized what he was revealing here and sort of snippets that he did. He's like, because if you look at the cinema blend, it's like, if haters are fakers, they don't know. He's trying to spin it like, yeah, they're all dumb. They don't know the facts. Hello? That doesn't make him look good either.
It doesn't.
The whole thing's a mess.
So it's interesting, because I would like to remember the guy's name. Chad, I'm going to ask you guys, just to make sure that you guys are following along and you guys are up to date with what we're talking about. Can I ask you guys, who was the writer of this Zack Snyder book? Who is the author that sat down with Snyder and created this book? What is his name?
I know.
Andy knows.
Sean O'Connell, was it?
Boom! Sean O'Connell. That's his name. Remember, it is really important that we remember this, guys. So I'll go back to this article. All right. Let me see. In an interview with Release the Snyder Cut author and Cineblend managing director, Sean O'Connell. You see that right there? Release the Snyder Cut director and Cineblend managing director, Release the Snyder Cut author, Sean O'Connell. Good. I'm glad.
is there a toxic fan base? Let's
Is there a toxic fan base? Let's go. Let's
He wouldn't be part of it, right, Jody? He's not like he would be part of this toxic.
Of course
fan
not.
base.
Here's
He's looking at it objectively. He doesn't have a biased look at this story.
here's a tweet that I put out, Andy. The type of hate that I get over a non-existent film. I tweeted at Zack Snyder. I said, Zack Snyder, your cult is insane. I hope Warner Brothers never allows that cancerous cut to see the light of day. And it will do, and all it will do is promote hate and threats. Here's an actual threat and hate that I've gotten from somebody. Let's read it. He says, I sincerely hope that you end up in hell. You're worse than a human being that I've seen on YouTube and Twitter. I've tried my best to stay silent whenever I see your hate mongering on Zack Snyder. Not anymore. What did that man ever do to you for deserving all this hate? I hope every single lunatics that contribute to Zack Snyder being pushed away from the DCEU rot in hell. I'm sure that is only a vocal minority, including crackheads like you. All he did was make a bunch of beautiful cinema that the majority of the audience loves and cares. Some of them weren't box office hits because pieces of crap like yourself are the online bashing it right from the film's announcement, not even giving it a chance in the box office. Why do I and a million other people should be denied Zack's vision for DCEU because of vocal minority lunatics that have hate mongering for Zack Snyder? If you losers don't like it, ignore it. Why hate? I sincerely wish to God such an abomination like you never existed. You're worse than a terrorist. That's pretty darn hateful. Mm-hmm. Crackhead, hate, worse than a terrorist, rotten hell, wish you never existed.
Over a movie that doesn't exist yet.
Mind you guys, I need you guys to I've never, not once during this time, said anything personal about Zack Snyder. All I did was give an opinion on a movie that I thought was trash. And that's where all this hate comes from.
But they're not toxic, Jody. Come on. I'm sure that guy gave, so he's allowed to say what he wants.
Yes. And remember, I tweeted this out as Zack Snyder and somebody picked it up. Somebody actually retweeted this thing. Oh, let me see who it could have been. Oh, dang. I can't see the tweets anymore.
Well, why would he block you? What, he's something to hide?
I'm blocked.
Sean, the author?
I could have...
author of this, released the Snyder Cut, behind the scenes of the Snyder Cut, Birds of Prey, long title book.
I could have swore that Sean O'Connell... Oh, there you see it. Sean O'Connell right down here. It's like, you can see him in there. Why would he block me? Why can't I see these receipts?
It's not like you were calling him out or anybody, yeah.
I didn't even know he existed until he popped up here in my feed. But he was defending Zack.
Right, exactly. You don't. It's always how it's funny, right? We don't follow them, but they managed to follow us.
So I added Zack Snyder with my own death threat, my own issues with hate from his fandom. And then here comes Sean, the author of the book, to say something. Well, let's see what he said. Shout out to You Can't Block Everything That's on the Internet. Voila! This is what he said. He says, this ain't it, fam.
Okay, well, that could be good, right?
I'm like, okay, that's what I thought, Andy. I was like, oh, so this guy, whoever the freak he is, he has my back. He supported me.
All right, yeah.
He's like, he looked at all that hate, and he was like, man, this ain't it. This is not what it's about. This ain't it. And I was like, great. But then if you look at my original stuff over here, here's my reply to this ain't it. I said, it's what I go through and have gone through for almost 3 years now. All because I have a different opinion. This is not good for the Zack Snyder movement. Okay, cool. But he responded, sure, man. I'm like, oh.
Could be sarcastic there. Yeah.
Sure, man. I took that as like, is he throwing shade a little bit?
Sure, man.
Sure, man. Like, sure, man. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Sure, man.
Now I'm like, is he?
Yeah, all right. Now I'm questioning it too.
Now I'm questioning it. Like, wait a minute. I responded to his sure man. I said, oh, so when you said this ain't it, you were talking about me and not the screenshot image that I shared of absolute hate and damnation wished upon me? I wanted clarity. I said, so when you said this ain't it, fam, were you possibly not talking about me? What is going on? Were you like defending me or again? I'm confused at this moment. Well, after he says, "Sure, man," and I responded, here's his response. Actually, both. And I said, then you're only half a douche. Then he blocked me. I hit him right in the heart with that sheet. He said both. So I share to the world that I have this hate from this piece of shit who says you're a crackhead, die, burn in hell, you're worse than a terrorist, I wish you never existed. I put that to the internet and you said you're talking about both. What have I done? I get it. You're a motherfucking Snyder Cult member too. And you watch Jody's Corner and you can't stand my guts because of my opinion on a movie. You and that trash book you wrote is garbage because you yourself are a cult member. You wrote that trash article, which is an op-ed. You ain't reporting news. You had that written because you are offended, because you are putting yourself a part of the cult, because you yourself know that you are just as toxic as the ones Zack Snyder is claiming don't exist. This is a huge web of BS, hypocrisy, cult-like behavior, slanderous, evil rhetoric that's being spread. This is all filth from the top to the bottom. Snyder, get your sorry lying trash self and all of your cult members the freak out of Warner Brothers in DC, and I can't wait for y'all to go. Bring this movie, bruh. Andy, what's up?
It's really sad because exactly, like, we're not going to get anything that's not biased. Like the fact that Sean's exposing himself here and saying, "Yo, yeah, sure, you're right, but you're also a douche, Jody. You're the problem too, Jody." It just shows they can't listen to reason or criticism. But all of that was sort of obvious, right? All of that was sort of, we knew that's what the cult was. These people who just refuse to accept. But look, we all disagree on movies. Like we can do it. We can get frustrated that people don't like certain movies we don't like. All right, fine. The problem is just the behavior of just like pounding down in their squad. They're just piling on, hitting, getting those anonymous Twitters, making 10 of them, and just tearing down, punching down, using the stupid memes to try and get to you. You're a jerk. They want to get to you. They want to bother you. And so even that, I'm like, all right, whatever. I can get over this. But to hear Zack Snyder now reveal the true colors and not only say, no, there's not toxicity, but yeah, anybody who's a hater is a faker, all this. Dude, this guy's clearly paying attention. This guy's, not only is he paying attention, but Jody, I think he's behind a lot of it. It makes me wonder.
That's what I've said.
Is he really getting into? Because it's all, whenever I'm talking to
and who's his number one pawn? Fisher.
Ray Fisher, absolutely. But I mean, even beyond, lower than him on the scale, all the sort of the channels he shows up on, the Grace's other ones, people in this fandom, he's clearly, whether it's him or through someone close to him, he's like a soul, like planning out. All right, go tell Dave Pena this, and go tell this one that, and go tell go film gob this little like, I really feels like someone behind the scenes is starting to really infiltrate and spread this, so the war, as they call it, because that's another thing, they literally call it a war. It's like, a war for what? Like,
opinions on a movie?
What is this war? The war is against Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon, all the people who talk shit on him during the movie. That is the reality of what's going on here. Not only did the public not like it, let's talk facts, Jody. Everyone hated BVS. They didn't like Man of Steel. Then they really hated Justice League. And that was the first time even Zack Snyder was like, all right, well, I wasn't involved in that one, so don't give me shit. And that's fine, fair, right? All right, we've learned he wasn't involved in that as much. It is what it is. But the reality is, like, Zack had been hated for a while. And whether that's right or wrong, that's a whole other conversation. But it's been building and brewing in him that he's not Kevin Feige, that he never had the same kind of success that Marvel did.
Yep.
He's pissed. He's mad. He's jealous. He's frustrated. To add to that, then a huge tragedy that I don't want to ever make light of. I legit think it could crush somebody, could make someone not want to get back into making movies. I don't even know how he did. So then you pile that on, which is mentally clearly like shit. And then they use that and then rip it. Look, I get why he's frustrated, but it's so clear now when you hear the man himself, and we pull back the curtain. This man is toxic himself because he hasn't moved on. He hasn't like come to terms with himself in the movie. This is still a very raw wound, it feels like to me. And that's why he's taken out. That's why he needs to tell people who's wrong. He needs to go to do this. He needs to do that. Like, look, I've been there, man, right? My life was destroyed. Sometimes I'm always calling people out when they're wrong, but I do it. But so I can relate to an extent, but to be able to like behind the scenes calculating like this much when you got what you wanted. You got the movie, right? You got the movie. Everything's in your favor. But now you're like still plotting and scheming and allowing these toxic fans to move the pawns for you. Man, that's really depressing to hear. It makes me really bummed in Zack Snyder because he's going to come at us at some point. Whenever he can take a little snipe shot, he's going to do it like he did to Scott Mendelson and others. He's going to take those shots when he can. And then the fan is, yeah, you know, it's what Andy Damas, it'll happen. And it's like, how sad is that? How sad that he can't like figure out a way to like bring the fandom together, push out the riffraff, and like a lot more people would be open to him in the universe again, give him another shot if he figured out a way to push these assholes away. But he's not going to do it, and it's not going to happen. And it's so clear. AT&T is like, what did we buy?
What did we do?
Like,
what have we done?
Why did we give him the cookie? You know, it's so clear.
Jody goddamn Damas. Now I want to show something else. Exactly. This started way back when Gal, she put this stupid tweet out, and I'm going to continue. I'll never forget this. Her and Ben Affleck put this stupid tweet out. Ben Affleck, I don't care. Gal doing it because Gal's part of the future of DC. Ben was the past. Gal put this released the Snyder Cut tweet out. You know, maybe you're right. She needs to, I don't think she was fully aware of what was behind this. You know, PR be like, oh yeah, this is the thing that's pop. Oh, she'll just tweet it out. This right here was the snowball effect that opened up the box of doom for all of us. And here, this is way back on November 19th of 2019, where I'm going to give commentary and I'm going to tell you guys exactly what happens. And this is before the Snyder Cut was even supposed to even come out. This is just when the hashtag was tweeted by Gal. This is what gave it all life. And here's my direct response to what will happen if you give a mouse a cookie. Check this out. Get ready, because if you get what you ask for, you might just get what you ask for. And what comes with that shit. I don't want no Snyder Cut to be released because at this point, if it comes out, I'll watch it. Keep that shit in the vault, dead. In editing, don't put that shit together, because at the end of the day, bro, I know the fandom. Fandom is toxic. You give fandom a marshmallow, they'll live off that shit for 3 weeks. You give a starving, blood-sucking, deprived fan a marshmallow, they'll stretch that shit out for 3 weeks. What releasing the Snyder Cut Jody
will
Damas
do is give them a buffet. That shit will not stop. That shit will be going on into 2025. 2025. Wonder Woman 3's release. Snyder Cut. Snyder's Justice League. Snyder.
Jody Damas.
Blackness. Death.
Oh.
These motherfuckers have no lives. All they do is talk shit about the past. There is fake DC fans that are behind Snyder. And then there's
dividing
real
them.
DC fans that are behind Snyder because they think he's cool. And all the fans that are just purely behind this are the ones that don't understand that this nigga ruined the freaking universe. The reason why we're out of the mess that he created was because of his shit. And asking for you to, it's like me slicing your throat, not all the way deep to your dead, and then a year later after the scar's there, I go right where that scar's at, slice it again. It's opening up the wound. It's damaging. It's trash. I hate the freaking idea of it. Now, Warner Brothers is going to have to be Warner Brothers like, geez, they ain't releasing that shit. You know,
why? Because they don't. Like I said, Warner Brothers ain't gonna release that shit. You know why? Now watch. Check this. Check this out. Check this out. AT&T changed everything. It really does not. They would have to put millions of dollars to getting this thing finished. They'll put it. It's got raw material. And I'm gonna even announce. CGI. I'm going to even predict where it will land. You guys really want that. Now, let's say they do release that Snyder Cut that you guys want. Warner Brothers ain't going to put no 30, 40 million behind that shit. So they're going to just put it together and release it on maybe on the internet, maybe on streaming, maybe a theatrical run for a week. And it's going to have an maybe they'll release it on the internet, on streaming, or give it a theatrical run for a week. Oh! The CGI, and it's going to be a story. And based off what they release, if they release it, I'm going to judge it based on that. Jody Damas! Why is it that I could say these? Because I know the fandom. You need to understand. Andy came on board 2020. Me and him was working, and he got some of the impact of some of the baggage that I brought to the scenario. And Andy, I brought damage to our relationship. I brought some baggage, and I'm sorry. You did too, and that's what we do. We gotta welcome it. We fight and we fight against it. We help make each other stronger. But mine goes all the way back to 2016. You're muted.
To listen. I brought it too, and I said it was never happening. That article did not help.
Yeah. Bro, this has been an ongoing battle with me since I said BVS sucked. The first official titled rant.
Screen Junkie days.
A lot of people didn't like BVS. Yeah, I had that rant out. Rant. On the day it come out, March 25th, 2016, utterly destroyed it. I said Snyder had to go because he just doesn't understand the heroes. And ever since then, the Snyder cult of the time has been on my back. I had Snyder Cut members that didn't like me, but that's normal because, when you bash a film, people are going to get offended. But it turned into this cult over time, went on as Zack got pushed out. They fired him. I said that he'll be fired after Justice League. Way back in 2016, I predicted Snyder would be fired after he films his last shot and says, cut, he will be fired. It happened. And his daughter was there, and they used that, which is wrong. I still say that's wrong to this day. But so much that I have history fighting against this fan base for the longest time. And they show nothing but toxicity. That's how I'm able to predict exactly what they do, because I know exactly how they think. Just exactly how this piece of shit, cultist douchebag Sean O'Connell thinks. And his trash book, which is based on the cult. This is a Snyder Cult book, ladies and gentlemen. He needs to change the name of the book, The Snyder Cult, because it is going to be the most biased piece of shit out.
Write that book, shouldn't we? We should write the real.
Man, I need to release the history and lore of the Snyder Cult. Oh, that sounds so much better than the name of his dumb book anyway, whatever the freak it is. But here's some more, just in case it wasn't enough for you. Look at this one right here. Kill Toby Emmerich. As for the ex-Superman comment from the article, the guy edited as Henry's manager corrected him, and that Henry was not left another bullshit rumor debunked again. Snyder's going for the Wild movie release. Dang, kill Toby Emmerich?
This guy, so this was recently on that Chris guy who does YouTube who said he wasn't going to cover DC anymore. These are the type of comments they keep in their comments because they're cool with just killing the people.
See, I would block this. I would remove this comment from my platform. I'm sure you would too, Andy.
I would block, not just block. I would remove the whole. He would be muted from the whole channel.
Correct.
I don't inciting violence.
Correct.
You're gone. But no, those channels encourage it.
What's going on here?
They happen.
Marcus, you seem like the kind of guy who just sucks Captain Marvel's feminist cock. Then this MSG Big Boss says, let's see. I'll put a Colt 45 gun in your mouth. Then let's see if you still want me to be triggered or not, pal. Ooh.
These are just cool, normal, rational people that you can talk to, just regular internet folk.
This seems very similar to this. Let's read it again. I sincerely hope you end up in hell. You're worse than a human being that I've seen on YouTube. I'm gonna actually write it because like I said, a lot of them are from the Middle East. It's true. He's from the Middle East. So I sincerely hope that you end up in hell. You're the worst human being I've seen on YouTube and Twitter. I've tried my best to stay silent whenever I see your hate mongering on Zack Snyder. Not anymore. What did that man ever do to you for deserving all this hate? I hope every single lunatics that contributed to Zack being pushed away from DCEU rot in hell. I'm sure that is only a vocal minority, including crackheads like you. All he did was make a bunch of beautiful cinema that majority of audience love and care. Some of them weren't box office hits because piece of crops like yourself are there online bashing on it right from film's announcement, not even giving it a chance in box office. Why do I and a million other people should be denied of Zack's vision for DCEU because a vocal minority of lunatics have a hate mongering for Zack Snyder? If you losers, like get it looser, it's too tight, make it looser. If you losers don't like it, ignore it. Why hate? I sincerely wish to God such an abomination like you never existed. You are worse than a terrorist.
Now, before you're clipped with your Middle Eastern thing, can I, before Film Gob goes and clips it, did you know he was caught putting out an image? Speaking of more cult members, let's call them all out. I'm so sick of it. Not going to keep hiding it.
You talking about the guy that I wrecked on a video? Guys, watch Film Gob versus Jody's Corner. It was great.
I wish I had known this when he was on, but yeah, 2018, he was under intense criticism for posting, and now deleted because he realized it was wrong, an anti-Semitic video content where he photoshopped his head onto the body of a Nazi soldier holding a gun to Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige, who was Jewish.
Wow.
So, you know, that's the kind of people you want to back up. You know, the ones who are always so righteous, better than us, Jody. You know, they're so much better than us, but they're out there doing anti-Semitic stuff like that. You know, that's who Zack's going to go show up and do support and do channels for, because they're the good ones, right? They're not the toxic. Film Gob's never toxic. He's just telling it like it is. Oh,
how terrible is that? He put a Nazi head on a person with a gun to the head of Feige.
He made himself a Nazi soldier and shot Kevin Feige.
Who was Jewish.
Yeah, you know, cool stuff. Good job.
Oh my gosh.
So good. He's so clever. Wonder why he deleted it. Oh, probably because everyone's so woke. And yeah, I'm sure he's such a goddamn hypocrite. He's the worst of them all.
Look at this one.
Everybody else.
And look at this right here. He did to Black Widow. Look at this. Look what he put here. Black Widow going for that Nazi Irene Engel look. He compared Black Widow to a Nazi in Wolfenstein.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot he does. There's a lot he does.
Yeah.
But you know, he's
supported
by the cult.
He is somebody who has followed me for years. He's somebody who's followed me for years, made videos about me slandering me. I brought him into my live stream. I absolutely destroyed him. And I would destroy him again, even worse, in a one-on-one, which is why he doesn't want a one-on-one. He doesn't want that. He's so lucky that you were there, Andy. I'm telling you, to help douse my fire. He's so lucky that Lewis was there to help douse it, because one-on-one, it would have been an even more annihilation. You ever seen a Thanos snap? You know them feathery looking? Yeah, that.
You know someone's full of shit when they're afraid to talk to someone one-on-one. When they're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to give you the attention. That's fear. Film Gob, I'm talking to you.
You don't want no smoke.
Jody one-on-one. Do it. Are you a man? He doesn't want it. Total BSer yourself.
He doesn't want no smoke.
Get that for me and send it over, because only someone who's afraid is afraid to do it. If you're going to call everybody else out, you should be able to take the heat and talk to them yourself, because then you have more ammo, right? Not him.
Here's how much of a coward he is. I brought him into the stream like a man, and I said, if you ever have any issues, come to me like a man. He says, all right, I'll do it. I said, are you going to stop making videos about me? He says, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll stop making videos about you. And then went and made videos about us anyway.
Yeah. And I talked to him like, hey, man, if you're going to issue. And then he brought on someone to just talk shit on me on a stream. And then I went in like,
coward,
hey, I'm here. Can I respond? And no, I'm not going to let him in, even though he promised he would. So he is a fraud and a coward.
Spineless. Coward. These are the spineless type of people that represent Snyder's fan base. You have to be a special type of spineless type of coward to put something like this on Twitter, right here. This hate for me on Twitter. You got to be a special spineless type of coward to say these replies, to ban me and block me when you say this ain't it, I was talking about both. To blame somebody, I was coming out as a victim of actual hate and terrorist threats. And you said it's my fault. Half of it's my fault. So you're blaming the victim. You're a victim blamer. And you are the same person that wrote this trash book. You are the author of Release the Snyder Cut. And you are a writer for Cinema Blend. You're a managing person at Cinema. You and your site and your fandom and Zack Snyder are toxic. And I'm resting all of this right at the man who's responsible the most. The Darth Sidious Emperor, who has been running around here like Chancellor Palpatine, that has just been revealed as Darth Sidious. And his name is Zack Snyder. This is all your fault. You now, my friend, are a piece of shit. And it's officially out there now, with you being on those toxic channels, with you inciting this type of bullshit, with you saying that everybody who has been bullied weren't bullied. You silenced their voices. You said that their complaints and all the hate that they got didn't happen. You are a piece of shit. And freak Zack Snyder, just like him and his cult, till the casket drops. Harvey says he's not a man. He's an 8-year-old kid. Go ahead, Andy. We're going to close out.
I love when we the grifters here have to they do it on their own to do it. But no, it's so funny to me because exactly, if you notice, I heard a little birdie told me he unfollowed everybody. Why do you think he did that, Jody?
Receipts?
He doesn't want to be caught following any of these people as they're caught being awful people. So he unfollowed everybody. And now the same problem is he started showing up on some of these streamers. And then people are like, PR people are like, dude, why did you know what she says on her Twitter and stuff? Like, are you sure why'd you show up on her? You didn't vet her before you showed up to her fucking channel? And he's not. And so the problem is now him, Ray, they're all going to get caught putting on these toxic channels where it's like he's going to be seen as an enabler. He's just going to be encouraging these people. Well, he didn't know. Bullshit. He's watching, he's paying attention. And this clip, that's this article that's so stupid of what's his name, Scott, to put, was it our whatever this guy, the author, to put out there.
Sean.
So stupid for Sean to put out there because it just reveals he's paying attention. He's keeping, not only is he paying attention to lists, Jody, he's keeping lists. And
yes.
He's like keeping track.
He's obsessed.
Yeah, he's keeping track of not only who's saying it.
I told y'all, man.
Ammo to make sure he can prove them wrong, and then we're gonna show them in a more threatening way. That shit is awful.
He had Ye Fisher on the phone.
That's something you say out loud.
Brought him to his house and told him, "Listen, you want your Cyborg movie? You want us to take over? You got to get at Joss Whedon. You got to get John Bird. You got to use your black skin." In a lack of better words, he helped empower Ye Fisher to use his black skin during the Black Lives Matter movement to take down people at Warner Brothers to get himself back in. And not us, you fools out there that bought into it, got them back in. The fools at AT&T, the fools who actually were being, and you didn't listen to us. You gave them mouse a cookie.
What's so frustrating is if they hadn't done all that, if Ray just shut up and dealt with it, and it was what it was, because the outcome that he got proved nothing. Nobody he called out was accountable. Nothing he did amounted to anything but more fan division and a bunch of nonsense.
Andy, it makes so much sense. What would make a man with no evidence be so sure and empowered to keep making accusations if he didn't have some type of assurance on the back end? Who was giving him assurance on the back end? When I get in, you're in. You're going to get your Cyborg movie.
They are both calculated people, and it's been proving itself every week. And what's so crazy is if they had just not done any of that, if they just shut up, taken the win, calmed their fan base, kept them excited, dude, Cyborg would have been in Flash. They might have made a damn Cyborg movie for HBO Max, I bet. All the stuff would have kept going had Zack and Ray not gotten so greedy and vindictive. But they couldn't help themselves. They wanted blood. And now, thank God, people are starting to see it. And AT&T is like, well, we got to support this money. We put a lot of money in this thing, so we got to put out something. But the reality is you can tell everyone's getting buyer's remorse in this. And sure, there are fans that are going to watch it. But holy crap, some of the I won't name names, but someone out there who I do usually respect was like, it's going to crush Wonder Woman. The number's going to be insane. can't find anyone. The movie's already been out, and people didn't like it. They're not going to watch the new movie. It's so niche to our nerddom, to the Snyder fan. Like, it is such a smaller group of. It's large. I'll give it. It's larger than our channels. Like, it's a large community. But my God, it's not like Star Wars fans or even just Batman fans in general. Even this is a small niche thing that's going to please film people, and people have been following it. And then some people have HBO Max, will check it out maybe, and then they'll probably fall asleep because it's 4 hours long.
Bro.
And that's the reality here. It's not going to do as well as they think.
They released a blurred image of Jared Leto's Joker, and they said it's better than Joaquin Phoenix's. It looks better than Joaquin Phoenix. What? It's blurred.
Base that on, right? With those gloves, nothing looked
with
better.
Those dishwashing gloves. How the Snyder Cult already loves the film. It doesn't matter if Superman turns into a cartoon. Literally, he could turn to a cartoon butterfly and say, "I bring you love and peace, bye," and flies off in the movie. They'll be bravo. It's genius. It's so much art.
Jody just said the Snyder Cult. Again, anybody who's watching and angry and projecting and thinking that they're in it, that's on you, not on us. Again, yes. I want to point out, because we say things like that, but again, we're talking about the toxic side. Anybody who gets frustrated, hey, stop lumping us all together. Maybe you need to look in the mirror and wonder,
you're lumping yourself all together.
You don't put yourself in that loop. Stand up and go, you're right. I love Snyder. I'm excited for the movie, but I don't want those toxic bullies here.
Yes.
Well, that should be what we think. Instead, they attack us. They say, how dare you do this? It's so frustrating how it's just like, guys, listen. Like, no one wants to listen.
It's gotten to this point because too many people do not listen. And listening goes to Black Lives Matter. It goes to Me Too. We're in a culture of victims are being heard for the first time. And it's not applying to this culture of Snyder's cult, because they could say anything they want. And even people like me could sit up here and provide receipts on some of the terrible hate that I've gotten. And this is just a glimpse of it. I've gotten, I lost my dog. I was told, F your dead dog. I hope it was F your dog Simba, even though they knew that it would hurt. F your kids, F your life, kill yourself, eat a gun, swallow a lightsaber, stuff like that, stuff that includes, dying. I've heard a lot of it, man, and you can even see it in a repost to this one right here that I have of this guy. Look, one of Sean, who's a Snyder Cult member. I said, then you're only half a douche. And then look at this guy down here at the bottom. Had nothing to do with him. And he says, and you're a fatty who's makes up bullshit just to get attention. Did I make up this? I made this up?
No, and a lot of people in the Snyder camp make up a lot of shit. A lot of sites are doing it to create the division further. There's so much makeup shit, and we're not making shit up. We have opinions, but they don't like our opinions, Jody, so therefore we're the enemy. You're not with Zach, you are the enemy. That is a fact I've learned.
Oh, yes. That's a Sith.
Like disagreement.
If you are not with me, then you are my enemy. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must. That was the number one tell of you are a Sith in a cult. When you're not with us, you're against us. That type of mentality, not good. Kimmy Richard, $10. Thank you, Kimmy Rickard. Thank you, Kimmy. She says, I appreciate you, Jody and Andy, for keeping us in the loop. She says, I cannot support Zack Snyder or the Snyderverse anymore. I will watch The Flash, but I am done after that. Well, that's good. Thank you, Kimmy.
I'm not trying to cancel the movie. Everyone can watch what they want, but
bro. Get all these fools up out of here, bro. I'll snap it. Snap them. Snap the existence.
The fact that fans are starting to feel that way, that sucks, right? That should prove why
it should be that way.
Being better,
bro.
It shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be there. We shouldn't have to do it. But you know who's done that is it's because it's the other side too. Ray Fisher. It's like I do want to talk about it for a second because it's like
go for it.
It's so clear. It's so clear these two are intertwined. And it's like we don't have any proof, so I'm speculating. Nobody quote me, but just in seeing it, I read this article in my video way back before all this went down, before Ray Fisher came out, and this article did a really good job at explaining it all. I can send you the link if you just to have it up there. It's really it's right here. There's a lot of stuff. I'll put it in the it's in the private chat. There's just even some good images to scroll through that I was using, like pictures fans made of Zack Snyder as Jesus. It's in the private chat.
Gotcha.
But this article is a great article, and you guys should check it out because it goes through sort of the history. This guy, J.M. Carter, who I tried to get on, and he's like, I don't want to be on YouTube, but thank you, please spread the word. But he did a really good job breaking down where it all came from, how it went wrong, where it started, et cetera, how Gal and Ben really made it happen. But he gets to this point where he talks about the snakes. And this was, again, before Ray came out. And so some of the Venice, I don't know if you have it there, if you scroll down to after
I'm about to pull it up right now.
Right, Zach is giving Scott a spanking, and I talk more about this in my video if you guys want to catch it there. But just to quickly recap it again, targeting the snakes. Some of the most venomous attacks, so-called Snyder Cult, are aimed directly at Snyder's fellow industry professionals at Warner Brothers, including top-level executives, all of whom Snyder cultists believe were and still are involved in a vast conspiracy to destroy his career and get him removed from the DC cinematic universe. Public enemy number one, Jeff Johns. And then they explain who that is. And so after BBS underperformed, box office, Johns, along with producer John Berg, was promoted by former chairman Kevin
Tsujihara. Yeah, Tsujihara.
He was pushed out, Me Too'd, to oversee the entire DC film division. He immediately rubbed Snyder cultists the wrong way by publicly decrying Snyder's dark, destructionist approach in his interview with The Wrap. Get to the essence of the character and make the movies fun. Just make sure that the characters are the characters with heart, humor, hope, heroics, and optimism at the base. Amen, Jeff Johns. I'm with you. I'm with what you said there. And so that's what happened. And then who's the next name on the list? They call him Zaddy, by the way, Daddy Zach. But then who else is on the list of people they're talking about? Scrolling down, who do you think, Jody? Of course, Toby Emmerich. Like
how
I said,
far
Jeff
down
Johns,
are you?
John Berg. Go to the one about the snakes. You'll get to it there. There's a literally.
Look at this. Look at this image. They have him heralded as Jesus. This is what I'm talking about the cult. Look at this. Zack Snyder as Jesus, their Lord and Savior. And I've seen many people say he's our Lord and Savior. I've seen it. This is
bad is that this movie
culty.
Oh my God! Of all the movies, Jody, that I would want to become a cult to, this is the last one. Look at
this.
You're an atheist, you live in a higher divine power, you won't understand DC Comics, DCU.
Oh my gosh!
These people are crazy, and I'm sorry if you're in this camp. You're in a cult. Go ask for help. Go seek help immediately. Keep going down. So there's the trolling. Anyway, this is worth reading it for some people out there. If you want to get in there, it's in the link to my description.
They took over Kobe Bryant.
When Kobe Bryant died, here they were getting in the comments. Yo, God bless Kobe, but you got him, Warner Brothers. Where's the cut?
We love Kobe, man, but off the hook, Laker all time. Yeah, I said it. Release the Snyder Cut. Jeez. The snakes. So
you're good. Targeting the snakes. This is what I was talking about. That's where I was reading. Public enemy number one is Jeff Johns. You can keep scrolling down because I'm getting next to the next part. Targeting after BVS, they were there, and that's the rap quote. But then so they hear this quote right here. Go to that quote by Christian. So they labeled Jeff Johns a snake. Look at this. They were literally trying to say that they were using that Disney used the death. You're so ignorant that you actually believe that Disney had no role in Zack's daughter's death. Perhaps they didn't outright kill her, but they did influence her suicide. All that so Kevin
you Feige freaking kidding me?
And then put his rat ass Joss Whedon to ruin it. But Jody, there's no toxicity in this fandom. What are you talking about?
They sit here and blame. You're blaming Marvel. Oh my God!
If I was Zack Snyder, this would horrify me to know my movie is right there. And I bet you this. We should look up this guy. I bet you he's an associate producer of the Snyder Cult. Anyway, keep going down. You see snakes.
And then I want to make sure we see this type of rhetoric here. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Zack Snyder says no. They don't. It doesn't exist. My fandom isn't toxic. How is that a toxic fandom? They've probably achieved more good than any other fan base and done more good than any other group. So I don't understand. You are a liar and you're full of shit, bro. You are full of shit. You're a douchebag, man. Back to it.
I'm just trying to see if that Christian guy is still on. It looks like he might have changed his name.
Snake Johns poisons everything he touches. Sad, pathetic, miserable, jealous little man. Oh, my gosh. Thanks, Joss and Snake Jeff Johns. Affleck's final Batman appearance was as laughable as Clooney's. Yeah, okay. And then we have this.
You get all this sense of the point of the snakes of Jeff Johns, John Berg, all the snakes. And then did you know, I forgot about when they called Patty out. Remember when they were calling Patty out?
Yeah, that was, Patty also was a victim of it.
Yeah, Pat, look how this bee jumps in on There's No Cut.
Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, here we go. This right here.
And I heard that you.
Gal, that Patty was asked about, is there a Snyder cut? And Patty was emphatic. No, ain't no cut. I don't think there is. There isn't a cut. And let's take a look.
Watch it, the Snyder Cut. I know it's a polemic story.
That what?
The Snyder Cut of Justice League.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No.
But
No,
do
nobody
you?
did.
Yeah. Do you believe it's gonna be released in the movies or in streaming?
I don't know. I think that the movie suffered from very,
The nobody
very
did is the question.
unfortunate
That's what you want to catch.
And sad, circumstances. I would have loved to see the finished cut of Zack. And I hope that one day we'll get to see it, but I don't know.
Thank you, girl. The Snyder Cut. I know it's a polemic story.
That what?
The Snyder Cut of Justice League.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No.
But
No,
do
nobody
you?
did.
Yeah. Do you?
Patty, I did. She said I didn't watch it. Then Patty says nobody did, hinting that nobody see that. What cut? And then the response to that, to another DC director who is friends with Zack. This is how ignorant they are. Even someone who's a friend of Zack, if you become objective, you will also get the hate. Look at how this bitch jumps in. No, nobody did. So Momoa is a nobody now, huh? Hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
No toxic though, Jody. They're not toxic. And then if you scroll down, they hit Matt Reeves. They hit Matt Reeves. Keep
Matt
going.
Reeves.
Matt Reeves, of course, is because he took over for Batman.
Yeah, happy birthday, Bruce. And then there's a response. We want Ben Affleck, not your snake in this movie. Release the Snyder Cut. Shame on you, Jeff Johns and Toby Emmerich, for what you did to Zack and Ben. Shame.
So there's Toby Emmerich. I'm making you guys remember.
I don't
Zack
understand. Once again, I don't
You're the most
understand. Looks good to me. What toxic fan?
No
Hey,
hate out there.
Hey.
This is a regular part of fandom.
not bad at all. Hey, you know what I'm saying? What else we got here, Andy? What's going on?
Targeted harassment and all these people. Here's Film God making a conspiracy theory, but don't give him more time.
Freak him.
Of course. But here, this is the one I want you to get. So here, former President Kevin Teixeira, I can't say it. Toby Emmerich as the acting head, Walter Hamada, often cited as masterminds in various conspiracy theories designed to eliminate Zack Snyder. And then they talk about James Gunn, who also, this was ugly what they did to James Gunn. But anyway, my point is, notice all the names we mentioned?
Danny Elfman. You came for Danny Elfman, who replaced Junkie XL with that whack. That was the most unheroic score theme I've ever heard. What is this? Is the Justice League. This is not a rock concert from heavy metal, bro. You need a score, a real score with epic symphonies and enlightening, charming, thought-provoking, tingly orchestra. Not no What the heck? They did a great job getting rid of Junkie XL because he didn't fit the Justice League narrative, man. $10 from Harvey. He says, I can't wait for this movie to die. You and me both. Aaronald, $20 donation. Thank you, Aaronald. He says, what up, Jody and Andy? Sending some love and support y'all way. But regarding the Snyder Cut, I'm going to skip it. Unless I hear from you guys that it's good and my hype for future DCU movies is gone right now. Thanos snapped that ish. Your cut, your fandom, Snyder, and your blasphemous and egregious, terrible rhetoric that you are spewing here, how is that a toxic fandom? Because they raise money for suicide prevention and you turn the blind eye to everything else. All of this involving you, Yay Fisher, your fans, Grace was a part of it. All of them are the exact reason why DC sucks right now. It is y'all fault. Mostly yours, Zach.
Well, but to echo what I was saying, as we welcome, keep the support coming. But I was going to say, all of those names are the same names that came out of Ray Fisher's mouth. Joss Whedon, Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, all the people, right? Everybody we've been mentioning, Jeff Johns, John Berg, all on the conspiracy hit list from these Snyder cultists. They've all been deemed snakes prior to anything.
Where would you get that from?
That's telling. It's telling to me, Jody, because it makes me think there's motive there of why Ray Fisher's doing what he's doing, to do it for his boy Zack. So I'm sorry, I have too many questions now. The fact that this fandom, the cult, has pointed these out and harassed these people for years, calling them snakes, and they were out there trying to ruin Zack for the whole time. How are we not supposed to ignore that and not think, well, maybe it's connected? Maybe that's why there really was dissent there. Because again, not only do you have all this backstory and baggage that they've been trying to kick and keep Snyder down, which may be true, by the way. That one might be true, that they didn't like his vision. They wanted him out. They're allowed to do that.
True.
Charge.
That is true.
So the reality is, like, that's not criminal. That doesn't deserve being canceled. But that's being inflated, as is the fact that Ray's part got cut down. And I'm sure there was some anger on set because they were frustrated, and Ray probably was fighting back. He's proven that with his refusal of booyah, et cetera, et cetera. And so the reality is, I'm sorry, sure looks like there was some emotional charge stuff going down, nothing actually abusive. And that's the problem here. So Ray's out there using the cult, weaponizing Zack's team, and just arming them with ways to take out Zack's enemies. And you're telling me they're not intertwined, that we're not allowed to think that's a conspiracy theory. We're the conspiracy theorists, Jody. They're allowed to say there's a big takedown to get Zack, but we can't be out there maybe wondering if there's a conspiracy within Zack's house to take out his enemies, because that's so unbelievable, right, Jody? That would be impossible. Someone this bitter who calls all his critics fakers and everything, he would never do that, Jody, right? He's a good guy. He doesn't have any animosity or anger or bitterness to want to like remove his enemies viciously and violently, right? No, come on.
What we have just done here is completely call out the person who wrote the article and the person who's actually writing the book. We have uncovered that Sean, the person that wrote the book on Snyder, is in the cult. He's the one that doesn't believe the victims of who actually show evidence, like me actually showing evidence of my own issues that I've had. He's the one that ignores all of these receipts, put the book out, who is in Snyder's, I guess, pocket, and Zack Snyder himself, who turns around and says, I don't have a toxic fandom. In fact, quite the contrary, he doubles down. I have a purist. I have the greatest fandom. Ladies and gentlemen, we have tied the person writing the book as a cult member to the person writing it for the person who is incited the cult, created the cult, to all of the people who put out the hate. Ladies and gentlemen, all these people are a part of what's wrong with DC. And Snyder knows that his days are numbered. And once this movie comes out, it's over. Stay tuned this weekend for the video I'm going to be putting out where I completely out him for his true beliefs. If you don't see this as belief, because we're still somewhat speculating by putting them together, it's obvious. You know, here's a smoking gun. Here's a bullet taken out of the body. It matches the gun trajectory. He has no alibi. He was around Your Honor, he's guilty. But, you know, you can't just say it. You were guilty. You know, eyewitnesses. I'm an eyewitness. And I am the source of the source. So when I do put that out, it will be actual news to clarify everything that we've been alluding to. So I invite you guys to tune into that, which makes me wonder why this article is even out now. Because I think that he knows, since he follows my channel, obviously, he knows about the video I was going to put out. And maybe he said, I want to beat him to the punch and put something out too. Who knows? Thank you so very much, Andy, for being here, for sharing your side and giving your amazing input. Thank you.
Smash that like button. Don't let the haters win. Even if they do, engagement helps either way. So smash or dislike, doesn't matter, but smash this video.
Thank you, everybody who showed love. Thank you to Swag Kage, Shogun Assassin. You know, this took over the yin and yang because this is for obvious reasons. Everybody, you know, if you guys have experienced bullying like me or Andy have, you know what I'm saying, lean on us. We got all the fight in the world for y'all. That's why we're out here doing it.
Keep those receipts.
Yes, keep the receipts of the hate. You know, since Snyder's saying y'all didn't get no hate, those aren't my fans are all good.
You know what? Here's a good thing we can do, Jody. Every time it doesn't happen, I think we should go.
Tweet it at Zack Snyder.
At Zack, is this toxic, bruh?
Tweet it at Zack Snyder himself.
Is this toxic, bruh? every time we get it now, let's use it back and aim it at Zack directly. Let's see if he can let's start raining him with all the hate.
Yeah. So Zack, you know about Jody's Corner. You know exactly who I am, and I know that you have a lot of anger and disdain for me because I've been the number one proponent against you as far as DC on this platform since 2016. And now the time has come. I'm about to out your shit personally. So it's coming, and stay tuned for that. I'm Jody Joe, that's Andy. Popcorn Planet Jody's Corner collaboration, and we out this thing, man. Deuces.